Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about ADA. So ADA, here we can make an argument possibly that the decline into the decline here in this C wave of the wave 5 is finished. It is a bit too early to say really, and I don't necessarily believe it yet. But then again, it wouldn't be a surprise if we suddenly see a third wave rally from here, which could take us to 50 cents and beyond. I actually haven't put the third wave up there. Let me just do that. Because it hit our long-term support area, didn't it? So that's typically when ideally buy orders are set. Yeah, and that's no financial advice, but that's typically how it, in my opinion, is ideal, because, you know, there's no way if anybody tried to buy here manually. I mean, some people might have bought, well, there were clearly some people bought it, but I would argue a lot of limit orders were triggered here. Because it's a 50% retracement. It's a typical retracement for a wave 2, and this area has been on the chart for a while, right? So this is the area to scale in for anybody who wants to get into Cardano and wants to trade the third wave, in my opinion. Now, in my opinion, if it gets into this area again, it would be another opportunity, but this opportunity was on our radar. It was triggered, it reversed. Anybody who bought, according to this analysis, can of course move up their stop loss, take the risk out, or just hold it in their hardware wallet. I mean, that's eventually up to you. I can really only give you the areas where I believe the price will turn around. Now, the reason I'm saying it could be over, this move down, is really because if we count this move down, that's what I had on the radar before, yeah, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5. This wave 4 already yesterday broke above the 50% retracement that I highlighted to you, so it was a bit stronger than you would normally want a wave 4. And as you know, here you can see again the great example of how important these fib levels are for the understanding of the waves. Because as I usually say, if it breaks above the 50% level, you can expect quite a bit of a further upside. And it's typically then not a wave 4 anymore, and it became not a wave 4 anymore because it invalidated this idea by breaking with the wave 4 into the wave 1 price action. What would have been the maximum it should have done? So it shouldn't have dropped or broke, no, it shouldn't have rallied really above the 50% fib level. That's at 33.65 cents. Going above that level is always a warning that it might not be a wave 4 anymore. It could be something different. And yeah, I mean, what options do we have? Well, the logical option would normally be, because we did go into our support area and we had quite a substantial, you could call it V-shaped recovery, at least to where we are now, as we're heading into resistance again now. So the logical assumption would be to say, okay, the rally down might have actually been finished. The only thing is I really only have 3 waves down here, 1, 2, 3, unless I try to recount the whole thing, which would make it a bit difficult and also would put it out of sync with Bitcoin, Ethereum. So there are of course a few options. The thing is, don't get too confused about the micro count. It's all about scaling into these support areas, in my opinion. Now, I'm not telling you to do it. It's really only how I think it's done in the best way, to just set those buy orders in these areas, and typically you see some kind of a reaction. So I think we need to have an open mind that the move down could be finished, because also for Bitcoin, Ethereum, I mean, I do expect another drop, maybe 2 more lows, but then at some point, this drop should be over and we should be able to get back into recovery mode. And ADA might just start a little earlier, okay? So nobody should be surprised by this reaction. Now, it rallied. It's now, however, below resistance. So let's talk about options. So first of all, we could say, okay, wave 5 is finished. The only thing is, yes, I have only 3 waves. Now, not sure if we can count something on the lower time frame. You could probably come up with something. I mean, sometimes you just don't get that last low. But if you ask me for my primary expectation, I would like to still see another low, because it looks unfinished with this drop. And had a few wicks down there. They often get filled. At the moment, I'm going to see what it's doing. I mean, there's no point trying to, I mean, I can give you probably 5 different wave counts for this, right? But there's no point. There's no point. It wouldn't help you. The key is, for me, we are still below resistance. So the next key level that ADA needs to overcome to the upside would be a break above this key resistance area. It was support before. Yeah, highlighted here as support. I might actually put that in red now because it's now resistance. Because we bounced off here, we had a bit of support here, we had support here that was this week, and we now hit resistance. So we need to overcome this. This is basically around 34.5 cents. Getting above that would most likely unlock prices into the region around, I would say, first of all, 36, 37 cents. That's the previous wave 4 high. Getting above that here at 36.2 cents would then put more confidence into a beginning of an uptrend, and we would also break above the trend line. So there's a few things on this chart where my primary expectation would still be at the moment another low. Yeah, as I just said, I would still like to see a clearer low. The reason is we only have 3 waves down. We're still below the descending trend line, and it is out of sync with Bitcoin Ethereum if I assume the low is already in. So in whatever shape or form, I think ideally we would get another low, but again, don't be surprised if the low is in. Primary expectation is fulfilled already. It just needs to turn somewhere around here. And to get confirmation the low is in, we want to see a break above resistance and the descending trend line. I think that's how to best put it. Anybody who's asking, how can you still justify another low? What would be the count? I mean, again, I can give you probably a few counts, but one possible count would be that we say all of this here was a wave 1 only of the wave 5. Yeah. Oh, that's a horrible. Yeah, let me just. Yeah, in 3 waves, basically ABC, in an ending diagonal. This would be a wave 2, 3, 4, 5. That wouldn't actually be too unrealistic, because Solana also still has a bit of way to go, in my opinion, to the downside. But for now, instead of trying to come up with a micro count that I have to revise anyway, I'm going to put the wave 5 down here. I mean, the next logical support level, if we come down again, would be 30.6 cents. That's the 61.8 retracement. It's the golden ratio. But yeah, I mean, I would be skeptical about the beginning of an uptrend already, because we're heading just below resistance. Yeah, and I would expect some kind of a reaction here to the trend line and the resistance level. But yeah, if we break through that, we have to be open to the idea that the low is already in. It's just not enough reaction yet. Yeah, normally I would say if Bitcoin and Ethereum also were recovering, I would say, okay, the low is most likely in, but that we really only touched very briefly here. We dipped into the support area, but only very briefly. And the recovery so far is good, but it's not yet, it hasn't broken above resistance yet. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay, that's my update about ADA. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.